to walk you through my penetration testing process for the basic pen test 1 lab. I'll show you how I set up the environment, discovered the target, scanned it, and ultimately exploited a critical vulnerability in the FTP service. I'll explain my reasoning along the way and talk about the impact of the vulnerability. I'll start by checking my Kali Linux machine's network IP configuration. We'll do that with a IPA. The Kali Linux machine here is going to be the 192.168.56.103. And the reason why we do that is because we want to make sure that we know what our IP address is versus the attack IP address. Next thing we're going to do is check to see if we can use an ARP scan to find the target IP. We're going to do a sudo ARP scan TAC L. The TAC L stands for local, to search for any local. Enter a password. All right, as we can see, after we entered our password, that we actually get an error. We found that there is a workaround for this because we need to make sure that we let them know about the interface being different. So the sudo ARP scan TAC, and then it's going to be dash interface, because we want to use and discover the ETH1 and then the target IP, including the CIDR of 24. Once we do that, we find that it does do the complete scan. And in order to find which one of these is our actual target machine, we are going to match the MAC address to what it shows in the pen test box. So as you can see, this one ends in 92:DD. So we'll actually go in and find our pen test box, do settings on it. Check the network. All right, the network will then pull up and it says that it is a 92DD at the end. So we can go back into our Kali Linux machine. And as we see, the 92DD is there. So now we know that that is our actual attack machine that we're going after. The next step in this is to check for connectivity. We're going to do a ping taxi 4 and then the IP address of the target machine. And the reason why we check the connectivity is to make sure that we actually can get into the machine itself, that it's up and live and active. The TAC-C only produces 4 ICMPs. If we were not to use that and just press ping 192.168.56.102, it's going to continue to run. So that way we show that we're only producing 4. Another way that we can check for connectivity is an fping using the same IP address, target machine. And what that does is it gives us an is alive confirmation, and that just tells you that the connection itself is alive. So the next thing we're going to do to this machine is we're going to scan for any open ports. Scanning for open ports shows us some of the areas that we can infiltrate through these open ports. Now we use a tag F. We use a TAC FV, that's the series version. What that does is it gives us not only what the open ports are, but it also gives us the version numbers of all the ports. And those version numbers are very important because they actually tell us the specifics on the vulnerabilities. If you were to just put in without the version numbers, that it's, whatever it pulls up, then you get a very wide range of different areas that you could have to try to check out. So we're going to do a nmap scan on that. Must be a mistake here. Oh, yeah, I pulled it up. So the Nmap scan did pull up the the open ports and with the version numbers. As you can see, the Pro FTPD, OpenSSH, and the Apache HTTPD. So what we're going to do next is we're going to search for any sorts of exploits that there could be. So I'm going to use a search exploit, and I'm going to use the version number of the first open port on port 21, the FTPD. Put that in and press enter, and it comes up telling us that we have some compromised source backdoor remote code execution and a backdoor command execution. Since we already know that the backdoors are a way in, we're going to try to go ahead and infiltrate this machine using its actual backdoor. After doing service versions from the Nmap scan, I did some research prior to this, and I saw that which ones had the vulnerability. That everything that was running the FTP service immediately stood out, and since it was running this 1.3.3c, which is the version known to contain this backdoor, and as you can see, it does say that it has backdoor. We're going to focus on this FTPD, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to connect in using a netcat. That will connect us directly into the FTP service. And we can do that by NC for netcat and then the IP address of the target machine. And then we're going to use the actual port that is open, which is the port 21 for the FTP for file transfer protocol. All right, and what this does is netcat gives me the raw connection to the service, which is exactly what the exploit requires. And it triggers the backdoor. And what we're going to then do is there's actually a hidden trigger phrase inside of the Pro FTPD that we found during the research. And we'll go ahead and enter that in now. And press enter. And as soon as I entered it, the server responded and dropped me into a command shell. Inside this command shell is where we're actually going to be able to test to see if we have root access. So we're going to type who am I? And as you can see, we have root and ID. And as you can see, we have root across the board. So with that hidden passcode, we were able to get root access. I appreciate you looking at my pen test. Have a great day.